I still don't think of myself as a climber. Yeah, not gonna lie, when I got into climbing in college, I was very turned off by the culture. It was just like everyone looked the same. They're all talking, like using this lingo that you're like, I don't understand. It was a weird place, and I didn't want to be part of it.
Warmth.
I think that a lot of people see climbing as just a sport. It's like, oh yeah, I just go climb and I go ascend it and then I'm done. And that's not how I see climbing. Climbing is a tool for building community. It's something that brings so many different things to so many different people. That is what is beautiful to me. And that's what gives me hope.
What do you think your role is in this world, in this community?
I'm coming.
I feel like I'm constantly asking myself that question.
Hi, my littles. Come on.
I grew up being raised by my mom to think about how I show up for community. I was born in Ventura, California. I grew up with my mom and my dad until I was about 6 years old. My mom became a single mom, and shortly after my dad went to prison, we moved to North Carolina. I just knew that he wasn't around and that it was hard. Even though his absence really impacted me at a young age, and it's still hard to grapple with as an adult, he gave me really beautiful things. To come to find out that my dad was a climber in Mexico, that was really amazing.
They love this part. They're like, disgusting mud, let's do it.
To be raised by a single mom who also had to struggle with her own things around being an immigrant and not speaking English as a first language, her status, all of these things. She's like, yeah, I want to be like her when I grow up.
Hi.
She has done everything to provide for me and my little brother. I grew up cleaning houses with her. She's worked packaging strawberries in factories. She's just someone who's instilled a lot of values around community and justice and liberation, and she does a lot of work for undocumented and immigrant communities. She's just trying to build a very radically different world, and always has since she was a teenager. That's where I got into community organizing and activism work. In my earlier years, I did a lot of work around immigrant justice. Did a lot of trainings on advocacy, lobbying, civil disobedience. A lot of times protesting. Was really involved with that. For me, I very much see all of our movements being tied together. One of the things that I most often hear is, well, the outdoors doesn't discriminate. The outdoors is for everyone. Stop making the outdoors political. However, people have the privilege to not talk about race or gender or sexual orientation or ability because it's something that doesn't impact them. I am a woman of color wherever I go. I can't leave who I am at the door, at the trailhead. I am who I am all the time. I think as I started connecting with more people of color and women, I started realizing that we weren't alone in this feeling. It's the individuals who make that climbing culture, and that I could change what it looked like to be a climber.
want to practice with. But for now, I'm going to start with an ATC. So
The Trailblazers program was started back in 2018. It came from a desire to give women of color the tools to feel empowered in the outdoors and beyond. That's been a dream of mine, is to bring climbing into the Trailblazers program, and it was really awesome to be able to provide that this year.
If you're in the outdoors and you can see women who look like you that are competent in those activities, that not only builds your confidence, it creates a safe haven.
So pull, break, under, slide.
When we talk about creating affinity spaces, those spaces are just so sacred and they're so needed. I feel like in the outdoors there's been a lot of like women programs, women's this and like women's this, and I'm like, that's cool, and like majority of those programs are still white women centered, and we need to be able to talk about race as much as we talk about gender.
For a lot of people of color, there's been a traumatic history of violence, of abduction, of erasure. And so to come back into the outdoors on our own terms is a way to reclaim that space and a way to discover a sense of ownership.
I like to do the disco. Can I show you?
Women of color spaces have just become such a needed thing for me on a personal level, and I want to make sure that the folks who are needing those spaces have access to them.
There you go. Nice.
Having these spaces and being with people that you can be candid with about what makes you uncomfortable about the rest of the scene, I guess, is just, it's amazing.
Seeing instructors that I see myself in, it gives me like such a clear idea of like, that's something that I could do. That could be me.
Finding a group that is women and also women of color is huge. I'm probably not going to hear something racist today. I'm probably not going to feel like I don't fit in. You know, oh, I can just be. What's even cooler is that we weren't depending on men to lead climb and do the ropes and all this stuff. It was all women, and they're these little tiny, just tough ass women that are doing this, you know what I mean? And it makes you go, oh, well, shoot, you know, I can do this.
It feels like a really big honor and privilege to be the person who is able to hold some space for them. I always get really emotional. Like I just feel really happy that these spaces exist, because climbing has been one of the things that has helped me honestly heal through a lot of trauma. I had never had something like that until I started dancing. My spirituality is something that I often don't talk about with a lot of people. As I've found a community here, I'm realizing how much even my own healing and spirituality is connected to community. So Danza Mexica has been one of the things that has connected me back into my body, that has brought me back into feeling that oneness that I feel when I'm rock climbing. It was a really hard year, you know, with COVID. If I didn't have Danza and climbing, I think I would fall apart. I feel really hopeful for the future of climbing spaces and the outdoors in general. There are a lot of amazing organizations like Brown Girls Climb, Latino Outdoors, Outdoor Afro, Native Women's Wilderness, Melanin Base Camp. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. I think it's beautiful to see these organizations all stepping up. Honestly, it feels like I'm not alone anymore. Some of my best friends are people that I've met through the outdoors, and if it wasn't for them, I don't really think that I would have been holding on this long working in the industry.
Woo! Janelle on her first multi-pitch climb. Woo woo!
What do you think your role is in this world, in this community?
It's all about community. Pretty much everything that I do, from my job to my passion projects to my spirituality to my own healing, is so much interwoven and connected to community. And that's what I think my role is. It's about feeding the community because they feed me.